They gave me checks, but checks started bouncing back. And suddenly, I had given all these materials. I had either to pay or no cash. And suddenly, I'm in this cycle where not getting paid.
What did that teach you?
Definitely, you need to have a collateral attachment to if.
But what did it teach you about people?
These people were good people. Okay,
they were good people. The people that didn't pay you were good people. How do you say that?
Because
someone hasn't paid you.
Because for example, do you think the all these groups of people going rent freeze? Do you think all of the owners and landlords of all of these buildings, rent stabilized buildings, are bad people? No, actually, most of these are good people. But when these people, these owners, these landlords are tied up and they cannot even fix the elevator because they don't even have money, whether because they are not getting paid or because the utilities went to the roof and everything, they are in a distress situation.
When did you fail in that vision, environment, and impact? Do you bat 1,000?
No.
Do you bat 1,000?
No, but to answer your question, right now we have a situation. The environment changed. So
Tell me about that.
I mean, political.
What is
risk.
making your vision and your impact impossible?
The political environment.
Explain that to me.
Well, it starts from the very beginning. We are right now in inflation time. And let's forget about the war and what the oil price can drive inflation. Inflation was there, it was here, and it was higher before that. And that was for a political decision. Print money as much as they could. And eventually, we ended up in this situation. So at the end, for me, everything is about political risk. And in a world that is extremely polarized today, it's compounds and it creates any political decision can make a huge impact in a negative way, more negative way than in a positive way. And so whether on the national level, global level, national level, or local level. So that's where we are right now. And moreover, developers, that's where we are in this environment. And that's the most challenging part about these things that you were mentioning. The environmental, the context that we are has changed dramatically.
What? No money, too much money, distress. What changed about the environment? You say it, right? You say it so opaquely, but I want to zero in what you mean. What is the environment not giving now that it was giving today?
I mean, we could get more technical, but yes, interest rates.
Okay.
I just mentioned the reason why interest rates are too high. I mean, they are not too high for long history. They are too high for after the financial crisis that were zero, and it was a huge impact coming up and then a little bit down. But that said, that disruption has affected many people, and so
0% to way up high percentage.
Yes.
What happened? What's the disruption?
I mean, those who were expiring loans and had loans with very low, and now they have to refi. But this interest rates are not the only reason. As I said, going back to political policies.
Right.
I mean, those who were buying in before 2019 rent-regulated buildings suddenly
had a different vision and wanted to make a different impact, but the environment hurt them.
Correct. Suddenly the environment changes, their business plan is no longer feasible.
So let's go back to the definition of entrepreneur. What's our definition of entrepreneur? Making decisions when your pants are on fire.
Well, you need constantly. You have to be very flexible. You have to be very creative.
So,
So in this environment, you need to change plans.
are your pants on fire right now? Do you need to make any changes?
Thankfully, no, because I'm coming from an environment in South America,
Which is?
which is it was up and downs. Actually, the reason why I'm in the U.S. is because I left in 2000. I came in 2003, but 2002 was the financial crisis that we got in 2008. What was happening there? And
So you've experienced volatility
terrible.
early.
I mean, I was already an entrepreneur. I got those pans on fire. I already got them when I was 27 years old.
So
And I went my own company, starting my own company. There.
So for you, the distress, okay, that your eyes saw, you would actually recommend that early, or as early as it can
as
be.
early as possible.
Why?
Because then you learn, you constantly learning, and then you try to mitigate risk. And I mentioned in other situations, like one of the ways I was able to mitigate risk, even though I bought something right before interest rate went to the roof, is okay, I bought land and it's free and clear.
So-
and with patient money, for example.
So
That mitigates the risk, not being now in trouble.
yeah, but you didn't choose to be born in Uruguay. You were born in Uruguay.
Of course.
So, how do you make someone choose to walk into the fire? You didn't walk into the fire. How do you make
I
someone?
did. I mean, when I came to the U.S., yes.
No, but you were born in the fire.
I was born. I was born in a different situation in the 70s, but by the time I was an entrepreneur, I was already with an architecture degree. I had a business.
But your mind was wired differently.
Yeah, I was feeling I was running in a treadmill in a gym and running, and not advancing. And the environment there was in such a situation that I said, okay, I have to explore other options. In addition to the fact that I was hit financially terrible by
When?
that was in Uruguay by 2002.
How?
So I started a business while I was doing some construction work, like a house renovation, stuff like that. I started importing construction materials from Europe, Brazil, Argentina. And I started selling to my former boss, developers, and other developers. To all the, I'm always a salesperson. I told you I came to this country as a salesperson.
What'd you sell?
So in that time, I was selling construction, ceramic tiles, faucets, all type of plumbing.
So why were you failing?
Well, they
You had a vision.
No, they gave me checks, but checks started bouncing back, and suddenly, I had given all these materials. I had either to pay or no cash, and suddenly I'm in this cycle where I'm not getting paid. And eventually, with the big, some people didn't even pay me. They went bankrupt. Some others pay me, but maybe half. Some others pay me in a very long period of time.
What did that teach you? What did that time
Well,
teach you?
definitely,
What?
you need to have a collateral attachment to if
But what did it teach you about people?
these people were good people, okay?
They were good people. The people
But-
that didn't pay you were good people. How
They-
do you say that?
because
Someone hasn't paid you.
because for example, do you think the all these groups of people going rent freeze? Do you think all of the owners and landlords of all of these buildings, rent stabilized buildings, are bad people? No, actually, most of these are good people. But when these people, these owners, these landlords are tied up and they cannot even fix the elevator because they don't even have money, whether because they are not getting paid or because the utilities went to the roof and everything, they are in a distressed situation.
Sounds
The
like
same happened to my clients, the developers who owe me money. They were in a distressed situation. Your clients. a lot of your clients. And
Sounds like they need a bankruptcy lawyer.
exactly, exactly. And we need Leo Jacobs in that situation. And they were all in a lot of bankruptcies. I saw a lot of these situations right when I was in an entrepreneurial phase, and immediately I got in, and boom, I got hit.
You got caught.
And then I said, enough. I was able to pay all of my vendors.
So you pivoted.
Yeah, but how I pivoted, I look at my wallet. I have few bucks left,
And a fly.
and I had I had miles with United because I had trouble before with the architecture school, whatever, and I had a $2,000 line of credit from a bank. And
2,000.
Just 2,000 in line of
You
credit.
manage what? 500 million now?
Around 400 and change. Yes.
2,500 million. Okay.
And then I came with around cash. It was like $1,000, and that's how I started in the U.S. And so, again, from struggling as an entrepreneur, now I was struggling as an immigrant.
Were you struggling or were you learning?
Both. You are learning if you know how to learn during your struggling period of time, and you because struggling is an emotional.
It is.
Right. It's something emotional.
Right. That's why I said, are you learning?
So
Because learning is an activity.
But I will be honest with you. When I was in Chicago, when I came and I was living in an SRO, and it was Sunday, I'm walking on the streets of a late night of whatever, Michigan Avenue, and sitting in one of the, I don't know, government buildings or institutions buildings right there with a Subway sandwich because it was the only thing I could afford. I wanted to cry because I said, what the heck am I doing here?
But what kept you going?
Because I was extremely optimistic.
So
and
you
as
practiced- you
a developer, you have to be optimistic. Today,
What do you mean you have to be?
yes,
You choose to be.
correct. And today I choose to be cautiously optimistic.
So
Today, in that time,
you needed to be.
I had to. There was no option.
Choice.
Yeah, there was not another.
So
option.
so confronting your impossible, was that a choice?
Yeah,
Even when you must, you still choose.
yeah.
Because you can choose to give up.
It's not for me. Giving up is not for me.
But would you recommend giving up to anyone?
Okay, it's a good question.
Yes.
Very good question, because we cannot be naive. Going back to I like how you're trying to frame this in terms of in the person, and then the level of the person and the environment, right? Those things are all integrated.
It's called the makeup.
Okay, so as the environment, let's say now I'm in New York. I was already with, let's say, H-1B visa. Eventually, I got my green card, whatever. Let's say I was in my green card. I tell you this, talking about giving up. 2008, I got my green card. I got no job. I'm still living in a walk-up building. I told my wife at that time. I'm telling my wife, let's have children. I said, we don't have money. We are living in a walk-up. You make me come here to live this life when we could be middle class, and so for me, being in the real estate industry, the construction, development, architecture,
Sounds difficult.
but there are opportunities, and the environment of New York made me summing up and said, it's worth not giving up yet, and let's give it a try another whatever years. Right? At some point, you have to give up. Now, let's talk about, for example, I'm a waitress and I'm an actor. And I am in New York.
But you're making $14 an hour.
So what are the probabilities on your industry to make a good living?
But where
Whereas in my industry, if I perform well, if I learn, if I can deliver, if I can execute, I have more chances than this great waitress and actor who should win an Oscar, but it's so difficult and the probabilities are so low that then you have to give yourself a time to give up, right?
So you said a lot of if. I won't give up if. Are we successful or are we successful if? What must you be first? Must you know that you're successful first? Or must you say, I'm successful if?
No.
Which one is it?
I would say neither, because every single step that you can measure a growth is a huge success. So I would love to make a home run, but you know what? I made a single that I advance. And that's already a step of growth, and therefore that's a success.
But $2,000 to $500 million, there's something has to happen in between that time that you have to get there.
Of
right?
course.
What?
And I first of all, going through singles. Like if I wait to get the home run, I might wait forever. I still remember, in fact, this now that we are talking about the analogy with baseball, and I'm not a fan of baseball. For me, it's too boring, coming from a soccer world. But I understand a few of the rules, not many. And I was talking to someone one day, and we were in the subway, and we were talking about, and said, you know what, singles count. And then there is someone sitting there, and he was a broker, and he immediately started joining the conversation. And I said, look, you go single, single, single. I didn't have an uncle. I didn't have a godfather. I didn't have anybody to write me a check. Hey, go for a 30-unit ground up right there. No.
What did you do? What did you have?
I started with a 2-family house.
So,
and eventually I did many, and eventually did 19, and then I did 29, and then I did 35 units, a 6-story. Then I did 7 stories, and then I did 14 stories.
in all those times, it felt impossible? When did it start becoming possible? When did you tell yourself?
Because it becomes possible in the right time, in the right place.
When is that?
Like that happened actually during COVID. I had tied up a lot of land, and I had the knowledge, I have the know-how, knowledge and network. I was already through a development process from A to Z.
Seasoned. You were seasoned.
Kind of. Every day.
So it still felt impossible before COVID.
Yes.
So when COVID began, it became possible.
Actually, but it became right before. It became in 2019, right before COVID. During COVID time, we were extremely busy. And there were many challenges, such as supply chain and
financing.
Well, thankfully, yeah, we had interest rate cap during that period of time. So, but we had insane challenges, and we went through it, and we proved every day to our partners, the people who trust their money and their time, that we can deliver, and we are always learning. Every day we're learning.
I appreciate that.